Well, hi everybody, Alex Goff here, looking at Division 2 men's college rugby. We're going to be talking about the playoffs and potential playoff teams. First of all, just got a couple of the new shirts up. Walsh University, I talked about them and I had that shirt, but now I've actually got it up behind me. K-Men Rugby with my name on the back, so that's super cool. And then I just got this one, Fear Rugby, a couple of things from them, and a super cool hat that I'm going to be wearing on tour when I go with the U.S. military team to the UK. So thanks a lot for those, and we'll have some more in view in a little bit in this video. This video is brought to you by Next Phase Rugby, which is an app that allows high school rugby players to connect with college rugby programs around the country. Those programs can be school supported, club, all kinds of different ones. 450 are already on the app, and thousands of collegiate hopefuls are also on the app. Download the app if you're a college, or if you are a high school player looking for a college, go to nextphaserugby.com. There's a discount code for the premium level for high school players at the bottom of the screen, and good luck with your college search. It's also brought to you by USA Rugby Foundation, which is an organization that supports grassroots rugby around the country, and your donation can help build this great game of ours. Also brought to you by Irish Rugby Tours. Touring is a great way to expose your players to the global nature of rugby. Go to Irish Rugby Tours. They don't just do Ireland. They do all kinds of different countries: Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK. That's just a smattering of what they can do for you. Go to irishrugbytours.com. And this video is also brought to you by Panther Rugby Academy, providing elite playing and training opportunities for players throughout the South and a more extended version of the South. Panther Rugby Academy, check them out. And I also want to thank a new kit provider, which is 8x8 Sports. You can't see their logo on this shirt, although you can see it on others, but there's the back of the same shirt because I have more than one. And several other great kit. We'll be having merchandise available very soon as well, so I'm excited about that. Thanks to 8x8 Sports. It's 8x8sports.com. NCR's playoffs are going to be a round of 16 starting with, but we have play-ins, so we'll have 6 teams playing in. The winners get those 3 spots, and there are 13 teams that go straight into the round of 16. So that's how it's going to work out. We're going to have a look, first of all, at the direct to round 16 teams, because that's where we see most of the conference champions, things like that. First off, let's talk about the teams that are for sure, as far as I'm concerned, going to be your conference champions. First off, Gateway, St. Louis University. They've controlled their destiny from the outset. They haven't really had any problems. They're going to win that. They're going to be that team. Second off, Montana State. Same deal in the high peaks. It's Montana State winning. They should go in. I don't have any problem with that. Third out of that, Vermont out of NACR. Now that's kind of NACR, not NRC, right, because I get the acronym. It's a new acronym, so get new acronyms wrong. UVM in NACR. Now, this is a very competitive conference, but they don't do a playoff. They do straight standings. Vermont's winning, right? They haven't lost yet, so they're going to win. So that is a for sure. And right following there, the number 2 seed out of NACR is also going to go into that group of 13, and that's going to be Norwich. I don't see there any doubt about that. It's going to be Norwich. Coming out of the SCRC, once again, this is a conference where there's like a really good team at the top. Then we struggle after that. Memphis, no problems there. They are in control of their destiny, and they're going to be in there. The one that I'm pretty sure is going to win, and yet they're in a tough conference that usually you're not sure, is Northern Iowa out of Great Midwest. Great Midwest is a fantastic conference. They've got enough teams to have like a legit North and South division. Really only the Mid-Atlantic is one that's large enough to sort of handle that sort of thing. They've got a lot of good teams, and you'll see that there's a lot of doubt as on the other seeds, but Northern Iowa is going to win this. Northern Iowa hasn't been challenged at all. They are very, very, very good. They could win the whole thing. And then we have 2 for sures that it's kind of odd, because what NCR has done is tried to be a little bit more creative with some of these conferences where there's not a lot of competition. So I'd like to see them find other options to do this. They tried with the play-in. But we're not seeing it necessarily in some of the more geographically isolated places, Northern Lights, High Peaks, etc. But Here, the Allegheny, IUP is going to win. Great Lakes, Grand Valley State's going to win. So what do? They have those two play, but it's not a play-in, because a play-in means that the loser goes home. This is going to be a seed-in. Both teams are going to go to, they're going to win that conference. Everybody knows they're good. IUP won the whole thing last year and could do it again this year. Grand Valley State's having one of their best seasons in a while. And they've always been good, but this is a very good year for them. So, just have them play each other. And that game is going to decide what seed they're in, but they're both going to go into the 13. Now, if we have a look at the teams that are, the seeding spots that we're not sure quite so much about, we look at, first of all, the Great Midwest. Once we get past Northern Iowa, now it's all up in the air. Generally, I'm looking at Marquette, Loyola, and Northwestern. Marquette's in a weird position because they lost big to Northern Iowa. So did everybody else. So what's the deal there? Loyola won. They beat Northwestern and won the South. They're the top team in the South. So where do we go? I think we're looking at Loyola versus Marquette to challenge for that second seed. And I'm not quite sure who's going to go through. I'm going to pick Loyola right now, but I'm not sure about that. But that's going to be a great battle for that second seed, still going into that group of 13. Mid-Atlantic, totally up in the air to me. Well, not totally up in the air. I think Scranton's still the top team. They've been undefeated, but so is Georgetown. They beat Villanova, but it was 54-47, 101 points, but they won by less than a try. And then the big, sort of monkey wrench in the whole thing is Virginia coming out of Cardinals. This is the creative thing, again, that NCR is doing, is taking a team that's going to win their conference almost by default, and you got to put them in somewhere to prove themselves. So they put them into the MARC quarterfinals, which is starting this weekend. Put them in at number 4 seed. Now, yesterday I wrote an article saying that's great. Put them in at number 4. That makes sense. Actually, I'm not sure I agree with that, because if you put them in at number 4, that means that they have to beat Salisbury number 5. And if they don't, okay, we learned something there. I mean, that I understand. But if they win, they're up against the number 1 seed. If they beat the number 1 seed, now you've set it up so you've undercut the number 1 seed coming out of the entire conference. Number 1 seed loses to a team that's not even in the conference. I could see how somebody wouldn't be too thrilled about that. So I thought maybe Virginia should have been number 3 seed. Then, they're playing a 6. Okay, fine. And then they've got to get through 2 and probably 1 to win the conference. That's a little bit different. Small little things, right? But this whole thing comes down to Scranton, I think probably, or Georgetown, or Virginia, or Villanova. And what if Salisbury beats Virginia in the quarterfinals, which could happen, and Salisbury. All their games have been super close. Well, not all of them, but most of their games have been super close. So Salisbury could battle their way through all the way from a 5 seed to win the whole thing. You never know. But I'm leaning Scranton, but that's a toss-up. MARC has 2 seeds in that 13, so the same deal goes for the second seed. We don't know. Could be anybody, really. And then finally in this group of 13, there's a one or the other situation. This weekend, UNC Wilmington plays Coastal Carolina in the Southern Conference. The winner goes into this group of 13. The loser goes into the play-in. Well, those are your 2 teams, okay? The same situation, not quite the same situation in the Liberty. Marist plays RPI. Marist has, last few years, been the stronger team in the Liberty, but RPI is a good team and probably having one of their better years. So, what's tough about that is the loser doesn't go into the playoffs at all. There's no play-in, nothing. You win the Liberty or that's it. And that's a little bit rough as we look into the play-ins. Why is it rough? Well, because MARC has 4 seeds. Should they have 4 seeds? Well, there are some good teams in there, but NCR has done a pretty good job, of trying to include as many contenders from different conferences as possible. They recognize conferences that are not big, so you have 2 or 3 or 4 teams that are Division II in your conference, and they're like, man, the number 1 team is so much better than everybody else. That's good. That's tough. Totally understand that, but Liberty's not quite that way. It's a little bit smaller, than some of the other ones, but I think you give him a 2nd seed. It's a little bit it's too bad. Mark getting 4, I don't know how that works. I don't know. Mark getting 4 in a playoff situation means that the number 4 seed lost 2 games in a row to get there. They won a quarterfinal, and then they lost their semifinal and the consolation game. Don't love that. But we all talked about those teams. Scranton, Virginia, Georgetown, Villanova, maybe Salisbury. Those are the teams in trying to get one of those seeds from Mark, and that includes the 2 seeds that they have in the play-in, the 3 and the 4. Nothing for Liberty. We talked about that. Number 3 from NACR, and that'll be New Hampshire. There's no doubt about that. Number 1 seed, no backup for Northern Lights. That'll be Mankato. There is no doubt about that. Number 3 seed from Great Midwest. That's the winner of the consolation game. Maybe Loyola, but probably not. Maybe Northwestern. Probably not. Maybe Marquette. Probably. But Marquette can beat Loyola. Yeah, fine, sure. But that's kind of where I'm leaning. And finally, we get the runner-up in the Southern, which would be Coastal Carolina or UNC Wilmington. That is your 19 teams, potentially, for NCR's playoffs. I think it's a pretty good playoff. I think it's got some solid teams in there. I think it'll be exciting. I think there's a few surprises. I don't think we have anything when we say, we know they're going to go through, partly because this is almost entirely club teams. And like school-supported team is a small, specialized school, so that's all right. So this is finally we get to the spot where we're not arguing about and this happened last year too. It was good getting to a club situation. IUP returns a lot of players that won it last year. Memphis, though, was right there. Memphis could do it. Vermont, Northern Iowa, these are teams that are looking really strong. The team that comes out of the MARC, I think, will have played 3 really tough games to get to that championship and be the number 1. I think they've got an excellent chance as well. And the dark horse, perhaps, Grand Valley State. Have a look, see if they can make it maybe to the semifinals, maybe further than that. But that's what we've got. Thank you so much for our contributors and our supporters. It means a lot. Thanks to our sponsors. And thanks to all of you.